we make beautiful is coming to an end. Here we get to sit and eat at a table, have our meals here, learn here, schmooze here, spend 7 days out here with this beautiful view over the Judean hills, and we see Jerusalem, and it's coming to an end. But I want to focus with you right now on an unbelievable concept. I know it exists in Judaism. I don't know it exists in other forms of religions, but it does in Judaism, and it's so deep and so special. So here we go. I said basically, it's Jewish magic. 1 second something's holy, the next second it's not holy. What am I talking about? How does that have to do with the holiday of Sukkot? And what does that have to do with life? So very simply put, you see this? This is an etrog. This is the special pretty lemon, right? It's its own fruit called an etrog. And people pay a lot of money to buy a beautiful etrog, right? Part of this holiday is focusing on the beauty, making our Sukkot, our temporary hut, look as beautiful as possible, and buying the 4 species as beautiful as possible. And it's the etrog that really gets the biggest focus. And people spend a lot of money to buy beautiful, beautiful etrogim. I personally love an etrog with a pitom. Some come with a pitom, some come without. I love it. To me, it's more beautiful with a pitom. I buy this. And then we have the other 3 species: the palm branch, the hadassim, and the willow branch, the aravot. So all 4 of these things for the 7 days of Hanukkah, for the 7 days of the holiday of Sukkot, are holy. We have to look after these so carefully. We want them to be as fresh as possible. We want the etrog to be beautiful. We have to hold them for these 7 days. We shake them. We use them in our thanks and prayers to God, and in our prayer for rain, and our prayer for forgiveness for everything, and to move on in life, to have a good year. So for the past 7 days, these were holy. These were holy. Guess what? This morning, after we used these 4 species for the last time, there's no holiness left to these 4 things anymore. We get to throw them in the garbage because they have the meaning that was given to them is no longer. So they no longer have purpose for us, and we can throw them in the garbage, even though until this morning we needed them. We had to have them to fulfill the commandments of the Torah, and they themselves had holiness. Even more so, on Shabbat, the Holy Sabbath, the 7th day of the week, when we rest, right? So on Shabbat, we're supposed to focus on disconnecting from the 6 days of creation and work and doing everything what we're supposed to do during the week, disconnecting from electricity, disconnecting from work, disconnecting from anything, disconnecting from cooking. Everything is prepared. Shabbat, we relax, we spend time with family, we pray, we eat. These 4 species were also forbidden for us to touch during the day of Shabbat, of the Sabbath. Why? Because they have a holy purpose. They have a holy purpose. And that holy purpose is for the days of Sukkot. And since they have a purpose during the days of Sukkot, but on Shabbat we do not use them, because they are muktzah. They're not supposed, because there's a holiness to them. But even on the holiest day of the week, Shabbat, because their holiness during the other days, we're not allowed to touch them. So Judaism has this thing. Someone says that their rabbis say you're supposed to bury them. Personally, the rabbis I've had, no one's told me that you're supposed to bury them. They can be thrown out. Some people like to use the etrog for jelly. Not really advised, because so much pesticides are used to try to keep them pretty, because part of the mitzvah is for them to be pretty. So not really advised to make or eat etrog jelly. Not really that healthy. But again, their purpose is no longer. So for the 7 days for the 7 days of Sukkot, these have holiness to them. But then after Sukkot is done, they're gone. Whether some people bury them and some people throw them away, because again, there's no holiness to them whatsoever. Now, why is that such an important lesson? Because I'm going to go into a special teaching that Rabbi Kook taught. And I'm a big chassid of this lesson. Everything in life has the possibility of us giving holiness to it. What gives something holiness is not the object, but how we interact with the object. And it's our purpose in life to give holiness to everything, and everything has its time and place. For instance, here we have a table. It's just a table. I say this all the time. It's just a table. Nothing so special about a table. We sit to eat at a table. But we have a choice. We can give holiness over to the table, or we can just keep it as a mundane, inanimate object. What's the difference? If we sit at the table and we say blessings, and we talk nicely about people, and we say good things, and we say divrei Torah, and we talk positive, then by us sitting at the table, we give over holiness to the table. But if we sit at the table, and when we're eating, we're not giving any thanks. We're not giving any blessings. We're talking bad things. We're talking nice things about people. Then by us sitting at this table, we're wasting our time in not acting appropriately and even acting wrongly. We're then desecrating the table. It's just a table, but it's our choice. How do we interact with it? Are we going to give over holiness to it, or are we going to desecrate it? The same thing with the 4 species. During the rest of the year, these are nothing. But for 7 days, we give holiness over to these 4 species. So my lesson to all of you, as you go through life, whether it's the 4 species, whether it's a table, whether it's a piece of paper, whether it's a pen, whether it's your computer, whether it's your smartphone, how are you interacting with it? Are you interacting positively? Are you giving over positivity to your life, to those around you, to humanity by using that object? Then you're giving over holiness to that object. But if you use these inanimate objects wrongly and for bad things or for wrong purposes, you are desecrating those objects. The choice is up to you. To each and every one of us, how do we make our lives holy? It's all up to us. And it's very simple. It's our decision. It's our choice. It's our free will that God gave us. Just like we turned bamboo slits, pieces of wood, and decorations into something holy for 7 days, and we could turn our neighbors into holy also. There's David Ornstein right there at his sukkah who just commented. And he's a holy guy too. There he is. He's waving. Wave again, David! Go to the open window! Go to the open window! We're going to have a live action feed. Let's see. Where'd you go? There he is, sticking his head. There he is. David Ornstein in his holy sukkah.
To your neighbors.
And what?
Can you use your neighbors for Kedusha?
And yes, you could use your neighbors for Kedusha. You don't use your neighbors for Kedusha. You interact with your neighbors to give over Kedusha.
Amen.
Chag Sameach, David. Okay. So today is the last day that we are sitting in our sukkah, that we're giving over holiness to these inanimate objects. And it's our choice, and that is what God gives us, the free will to give over holiness to our surroundings, to our life, to inanimate objects that we come into contact with. So everyone, enjoy the last day of the holiday of Sukkot. I'm enjoying it here in my homeland, the ancestral and eternal homeland of the Jewish people, the Judean hills, the land of Israel. This is where the Jews are supposed to celebrate. This is where it was meant to be celebrated when the Torah, the Bible, and God gave over the commandments and the holidays. It is here, in these hills, in this land, our homeland, and we are home celebrating once again. Jews that were here for hundreds and thousands of years, Jews who've returned home from different parts of the world, we are all back home. My neighbor David, whose family was recently from England, my family recently from America, all families from Europe or from the Middle East, and those who've been here. We are all coming home in our ancestral homeland, giving over holiness to our homeland by the Jewish people being here. That's the purpose of the Jewish people, to give over holiness to our homeland, to then be a light into the nations for all of humanity to be a better place. Chag Sameach, everyone. Enjoy your last day of Sukkot, and tonight we celebrate the next holiday. You think we're done celebrating? Not at all. Tonight we begin the holiday of Simchat Torah, also called Shmini Atzeret. another big happening, another big party, a lot of dancing, a lot of music, celebrating with the Torah, our happiness about the lives we live following the Torah and learning the Torah. So we'll get more into that a little later. In the meantime, we're going to say goodbye to the Sukkah. Today's the last day, so everyone say goodbye. And make it a great day. Shalom from the ancestral and eternal homelands of the Jewish people. Goodbye to the 4 species that were holy and no longer holy. And that is what life is about. It's your decision. Are you going to interact and use your time wisely to make your life holy and the surroundings around you holy? Or are you just going to keep it mundane and just desecrate it and waste it? It's up to you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Shalom.